everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube. Welcome back. If this is your 11th The Rookie Season 7 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. Yeah, sorry about the delay. I really am. I had some other arrangements to do, and that resulted in the delay. And for the first time ever in recent rookie history, I was spoiled on an episode. Not because of Twitter, not because of X, not because of social media, none of that. The fact that I got spoiled via one of my own friends, I think she's the only friend I know that she actually watches the show now live. She was a binger during the last off season, and the fact she spoiled it for me, like, I'm not surprised. I was expecting something a little bit more. Could have just been misdirection mostly. I'm not surprised by it. You know, the decision they made. Obviously, I don't believe it's going to be the conclusion of that storyline. I do believe we're going to get a little bit more out of it as we're more early now in the second half of the season. And I'm just very curious to see how it's going to develop. But for this episode, it was fun in a weird way. It was fun. It's not what I was expecting. I don't think it's one of my favorites of the season so far. But I do believe it's a very fun episode. And kind of like a weird trilogy concluder of sort of, which I think certain people understand what the heck I mean by that. But I think, honestly, I was surprised with some certain aspects they were doing, kind of, again, the last 2 weeks of being like morely closing story arcs. This more like felt like evolving to an extent, if that makes sense, where I don't know how else to say it. It's just more like certain things that we kind of wrapped up with last time. We're kind of like now beginning the pandering into what is next for the second half. And I'm very curious about that. I'm very curious to see, where it goes. It properly feels like our second half of the season where everything from the first half is kind of over with. Everyone's kind of like returning back to the sort of the same status quo a little bit. But there's still some things lingering. And I'll just say that much. And also, I think I got a hair stuck in my mouth, so... Ow. Oh, shit, I actually got it on the first try. Nice. Well, that all being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we begin with Nolan and Bailey getting invited to a night out. It's been a while since these two have had a traditional, nice, easy night out without much issues. Obviously the last few weeks for them have been very eventful, so them finally having a time to kind of chill. And also now that Selena is a P2, now they can have proper hangouts that doesn't feel like, superiority being, set in stone. And also, yeah, so just to clarify, yeah, no one is not moving into the next rookie yet. I guess Chen and Bradford are still handling the current two. So at least right now he is kind of, rookie-less. So, which again, having spent mostly 2 years with Selena, it kind of makes sense for him to take a little bit of a break. And I'm very curious to see where things go for them. But we're not there yet. Apparently they're there because Selena has gotten a new boyfriend. And I'm just like, damn. I mean, unless this was a secret one, because it wasn't that long ago we had the whole Valentine's Day episode. And she was already hooking up with someone else. So I'm like, damn. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just a very whirlwind of young love. Where like, oh my god, I got a boyfriend and he's a musician. That's great. And she introduces him, and Nolan's like, huh, you look very familiar. And then I'm like, oh no. And I got spoiled on this. This was not the thing I got spoiled on, but they released an early clip of it where they were confirming, yeah, the Cop Cuties singer was going to come back this time in a more major way, not just a cameo. Which I'm like. In terms of the rookie, I feel like that was one of the more meme / repostable things in the last few years for the show. So it kind of makes sense they want to expand on that, which I'm just like, which is great. And him pairing up with Selena was like, okay, interesting direction. I'm pretty sure they could have found any other way to bring him back, but okay, interesting turn. Like I said, not what I was expecting, but again, it works for the context for what it is. And yeah, so he is singing a brand new song that is sort of inspired by Nolan. And Nolan, just for the whole thing of it, once he drops the name, yeah, the original Cop Cutie, he's like, oh no. It's kind of like, it just kind of reminds, I haven't seen this in season 5 where Nolan and Bailey kind of seem like Selena's kind of second parents in a way where they kind of act like parentals, where Nolan's now acting like the disappointed dad who's not happy with his daughter's choices in dating. And he's there to support Selena, to kind of be there for her, but at the same time, with him, he's like, yeah, I don't like you. I don't like this. I don't like this chain of events. And he's just begrudgingly like having to hold Bailey's hand, having to like look at him throughout the whole time, which I love their rivalry. I really, really do. And I'm just like, I don't even think he noticed. And like with the way this episode kind of teed up, I'm like, it's interesting. It's like, not what I was expecting. It really wasn't. So we cut back over to the next day where Smithy is about to enjoy a very nice private morning snack in the old Metro representative office, once owned by Officer Bradford. However, he is surprised to find a raccoon in there, which I'm just like, interesting again. I mean, how did a raccoon get into the station? I don't really know. This seems like one of those like unreachable things where like, it's amusing. Yeah, it made for a very nice bit. But I'm just like, how did a raccoon get in the station? Like I'm just curious, like how did that happen? How? But anyway, so immediately Nolan, Bradford, and Chen are just walking in, about to start their proper shifts. I'm pretty sure, again, this was, which was kind of weird the way they were walking, because it just seems like they were just getting ready to kind of get out there into their shops now, kind of like rookie-less for the moment. However, Nolan's kind of like blandering him on it about his hatred for this musician, that all he wants to do is just like, I don't know, he doesn't want to kill him, but he's just very much like, he loathed him. Let's just say it that much. Smithy comes out, trying to get Chen and Bradford to assist him on the matter. The raccoon is not in the office anymore, which Bradford and Chen do not believe whatsoever, because this is Smithy we're talking about. However, they do take it very seriously. Like, okay, if it is a raccoon, then, we should have someone take care of it. So they're going to have Penn handle their little raccoon infestation quickly and sniffly. And again, another side of, Chen and Bradford being very totally different people. Chen just wants to be humane and save the animal, while Bradford's like, do whatever it takes. Shoot it, kill it, murder it. It doesn't matter. Just get rid of this problem. Just get rid of it. So from there, I want to say we want to get to, where do we go from here? Selena's boyfriend, the musician, shows up, acting all relationship-like, trying to be like, like, should we kiss? Can we kiss now? Are we there yet? And I'm like, how long have you two been dating? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, but however, he goes, the real reason why he's here, apparently someone just recently robbed his studios, taking a lot of their instruments, and he's just kind of there like, what do we do now? What do I do now? Like, because that's my entire life right there, which like, Selena's like, right, I'm ready to help you, ready to kind of assist you. No one kind of runs into them, and no one's like, yeah, bye. But however, Gray does summon him over to his office. I forget what the reason why he got summoned. I know that the other scene happens later, but I'm trying to remember, what exactly did Gray call him over for this one? I can't remember for the life of me. I really can't. No, we don't get to that scene yet, but I know something else happened. Harper is bringing back James over from the hospital. He's finally well enough to return back to the comforts of his own home. However, there's some very lingering feelings between them. And it's not about the kiss. It's actually about the photograph, featuring the very violent anti-police activist that James brought into their home not too long ago. And James is obviously trying to calm her, explain to her, like, he wants to speak about this. But Harper's like, nope, I'm here just to be a supportive wife. I'm here for you, and that's it. We can talk about this when you are 100% healed, because we are going to have a major argument about this. But right now, it's about your recovery. And James, knowing his wife, wants to have the conversation now to get the pity point, which I'm like, dude, this is Harper we're talking about. She's going to eventually use this against you when you are fully healed. So I'm like, I would say take the hint, take the piece, come back to it later. Like, there is no reason to deal with this today. There really is no reason. But we'll get to more about that later. I want to say we cut over to... where do we go from here? Am I forgetting anyone major in the cast today? I don't believe so. I know Selena's still going through the musicians report, and they're trying to figure out, okay, who could potentially be the mystery, robber? You have any enemies? And the guy's like, no, I don't have any enemies. Everyone loves me. And I'm just like, oh no. Is this one of those like novice people who just believes everyone loves them? And Selena's like, well, Nolan doesn't like you that much because of the song. And he's confused because, really? I thought it was a very nice, sweet song. There's nothing negative about it. And then he's playing montages from his other, making impromptu songs about someone's profession live in person. And I'm just like, Well, first of all, this guy has a gift. The fact he's able to make catchy songs on a whim. I'll give him that credit. But at the same time, it's like, you think you're doing something positive, but in fact, you're not. And I feel like this guy is just a little ignorant on that front. And Selena's like trying to be like girlfriend-like by trying not to insult him. But at the same time, she is acknowledging, oh no, he just doesn't know what he's doing. That's basically it. Nolan and Chen, they get rallied over by Gray to let them know that there was a recent attack on 3 young girls. One of them's in critical condition. The other 2 are not. And so we need you to go in and figure it out. And obviously they're a little bit, again, like we were just having a lot of fun earlier. We were just doing nice, simple policing work, and all of a sudden there's a violent crime happening. So Chen just completely forgets how often at times where like things kind of go sideways when you're on the day to day. From there, I want to say we are getting to, where do we go from here? I want to say most likely we cut back to Gray, who gets a call from a warden saying there's a violent outbreak happening right now in a prison. So they're sending a bunch of their people over to kind of like, diffuse the situation as they're trying to, lessen its validity. But however, he doesn't tell him how many people he's sending over. He just says a few. But however, we always know it's never just a few. It never is. And even though that their holding cells are at max capacity, he's like, don't care. Technically, because of penal law, I am legally allowed to kind of commandeer local detention centers and use them for exterior storage for my inmates. So you must comply by this, which obviously Gray gets really, really mad about. Bradford comes in, immediately telling him, it's all hands on deck. We need to get this, the holding cell, like immediately prep for all these inmates coming in, which again, Bradford's already got a very tall list considering the fact the morning shift only just begun and most of them are holdovers from the midnight shift. So now they're very much kind of scared and confused. Like how the hell are they going to fit all these prisoners in when they don't even know the number to a very fair system. So that's kind of like the pier they're going with today while, Penn is just all around the station trying to find the raccoon, but finding really no luck on that front. Bailey's bringing in the 3 girls, kind of assessing their condition. One's critical, one's fine, one's like only got minor stab marks on her hands. So they get escorted into their proper designations. Nolan and Chen are there to kind of get the lay of the situation from Bailey, trying to figure out what happened. It seems like only 2 of the 3 girls are in are fine. The other one is in very critical condition. She needs to be taken to the ER right away to get to the OR stat to I had to say that, I really did, but to get healed up. Where do we go from there? Are we at that scene yet? Yeah, we'll just get to it. So I know Nolan should eventually have a discussion with Luna about what the current parameters are. The severe girls in surgery and the other 2 are kind of, in their propping cells, and they were coming up with the story where they were in the woods, one on the sunset trying to find a deer, and then some random crazy white guy came after them with a knife, stabbed one of them and trying to stab the other one, but eventually he just got away, which is like interesting. I mean, very, very serial killer-like, but still interesting the way they're saying this. So eventually I want to say Lopez comes in to kind of, assist with the matter, interviewing a couple of the parents that are present actually there. However, sadly, the parents also have their own problems going on considering the fact that the 2 used to date. It didn't end so well between them. So now they're kind of taking out their frustrations even during this like very critical moment with their kids. And by the time Lopez interviews them, it's like, okay, the parents are not at fault here, but like there's something very strange about the kids considering that like, the kids have the exact same story, and which is like fine, but like the wording is creepy. It's like the exact same. So they're a little hesitant that this may not be just a random attack. This could be something intentional. So from that point onwards, Chen gets also paired back up with Ridley, it's a little weird the way he shows us. Like kind of like last minute, like how do you know Chen was here? Like how did he get here? Like I really don't know. This was super confusing. But he's here. He's like, I heard that the station's down. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention like Wilshire gets knocked out with a virus. So their recent software update kind of like jailbreak their whole system. So now they can't do anything electronically. Everything's got to be old fashioned. Like, and that's at the same time when the bus of inmates come in, and it's not just a few, it's like I think over a dozen of them. So now they're kind of fucked. And also at the same time, there is no manifest of the issues anymore. Apparently everything's gone digital, which was supposed to be sent out to the prisons, but to the station. But however, since the station doesn't have a software right now, they can't get anything. The guy also has a heart attack in the middle of the way, which I'm just like, damn, my dude, damn. Everything that can go wrong today can't go wrong today. It's like a day of my life sometimes. So we're back in the station, and they're trying to corral everyone in, and they're kind of fucked because, in fact, again, they got to take care of the midnight people, the people they're trying to dismiss, and all obviously these prisoners who, again, certain people cannot be associated with each other just because of the sanity of their livelihood. So they're really got a puzzle over here, like how would they try to get this hand, which Juarez does get pulled away to go assist in the matter, leaving the musician alone. And the musician, as his way of trying to kind of, assist himself during the situation, he starts playing on the guitar, which I'm just like, my dude, I know you like guitar, but still, now's not the time. Now's really not the time. I want to say from there, we eventually... yeah, no, I forgot about Ridley. Yeah, so back to Ridley. So yeah, he's filling in Chen. He's like, yeah, I know it's all hands on deck right now at the station, and since you and Nolan are on the field, I thought maybe I can assist in some shape or another. And Chen's like, okay, no, I got an assignment for you. You're gonna go and watch the one of the patients, one of the people that were watching, one of the girls, and Ridley's like, oh no, that's great. Maybe you think I could talk to her, try to, calm her down, trying to have that, one-on-one policing moment that everyone else seems to be getting with the suspects, not the suspects, with the victims. And Chen doesn't improve it right away. However, one of the doctors passed by who recognizes Seth, and I want to say immediately recognizes him. Obviously, Seth brings up the fact that, oh yeah, no, she was my oncologist when I had the cancer the last time, and then that's when Chen knows, like, she was, you relapsed, you got your cancer back. And he's like, oh yes, I obviously I did, but like, I have a new doctor now because the police insurance is just not quite the same as my original insurance, so kind of got no choice in the matter. And the doctor's kind of like playing like, yeah, well, it sucks to not see you in my care, but, again, if you ever need any assistance, I'm glad to help, call my office. Sounds like great. But then Chen's just like very worried about it. So when Chen goes over to Luna to kind of confirm her suspicions about like this other doctor that Ridley's now talking about, and Luna has basically stated, no, this guy's problematic. He's been in front of the medical board. He's had various different issues of falsifying documents, falsifying statements. He is just not a reliable doctor in this hospital. For why they didn't get rid of him yet, who the heck knows? But that's great, kind of all she could tell her, like, yeah, no, he is not a doctor you can really trust. And with Seth having him as his doctor, especially something critical as cancer treatment, it is skeptical to believe whether or not that actually is occurring. So that, again, with everything else we got going on for Seth, now the possibility of him faking his cancer relapse is very much something that he is not agreeing with, basically speaking. So now Chen's like, got more fuel in the fire. She contacts Bradford, who Bradford tells him, okay, yeah, so as of right now, there really isn't nothing we can officially do yet. However, what's the word? But however, because considering the fact that Ridley is still in his FTO program, technically anything that the Mid-Wilshire officials can ask of him, he must comply with to stay in the program. So if they want him to do a blood test, he has to comply with the blood test, which will basically confirm once and for all, does he have cancer again, on an official like documentation level that they can assess to. So that's all they really need to get for now, but they're going to hold off on that just for the moment, considering with everything else going on. Now's not the time. Lopez brings in the two girls in for questioning. Wesley is, again, providing cautions, like, just letting you know, they're minors, so technically they should have a lawyer on hand, so technically you could talk to them, but if they request a lawyer, you have to pull out. Otherwise, I can deem their admission admissible in court, which Lopez agrees with. So she and Nolan at the same time simultaneously talk to both girls about the incident that transpired. And they repeat the same story, but however, again, they're repeating the same story word by word, which is super creepy and sounds very rehearsed. So obviously there is suspect play here to like figure out there might be conspiracy to try and kill her, the other girl, intentionally. But again, they don't have that information just quite yet. So I think from there, I want to say we get over to, where do we go over to? I forgot where we go exactly go over. I think they're still corralling the the inmates. There's fights happening. Everyone's getting all ransied up with everyone else. It's a struggle to get out of there. Eventually, violence starts breaking out in the holding cells, and Gray's like, okay, now we're gonna transform the bullpen into a temporary holding cell. So they kind of do this montage with the musician playing this new song, as everyone's kind of like transitioning the bullpen over to a temporary holding room, transferring the patients the inmates one by one. Eventually, one of them just looks at the musician. It gets mad at the song and tackles him, which I'm just like, damn. This is not anyone's day. It really isn't. Thankfully, the situation gets diffused. They pull him out as everyone else tries to assist the musician in getting back on his 2 feet. Sadly for Smithy, he gets nice to one of the inmates who's requesting to use the bathroom, which Smithy complies with. Okay, I'll take you there. And Smithy, being Smithy, starts talking about random shit, and I'm just like, how do you still have a job? Like, that is my question. How do you still have a job, Smithy? There's gotta be some dirt you have on Gray or something because again, so what happened was he lowers his guard and he lets the guy kick his ass, take his gun, and get away. Which I'm just like, Smithy, why? Smithy, why? Anyway, Smithy calls it in. Bradford goes to respond. Same with Juarez as they try to assess the situation. Penn gets taken off of raccoon duty while they go after the escaped convict, which at the time, some of the systems do come back online, and they do confirm one of the red tag individuals, like an inmate that is 100% needs to be on watch, preferably independent from everyone else, to maintain their safety. And sad that the guy that Smithy just let get away is that red tag inmate. So Bradford and Penn are hot on pursuit. They head into, I guess, one of the boiler rooms, and the inmate was about to shoot Bradford. However, the raccoon, of all animals, saves Bradford, which I'm just like, I swear to God, if there is even a moment where Bradford tries to adopt him because he saved his life, like similar to Kojo, which I'm just like, I hope they don't. If it ends up happening, I swear to God, we got a Dr. Dolittle situation on our hand here. So yeah, that diffuses the situation. Thankfully, everything's fine over there. Nolan's going through one of the girls' laptop, and he finds a very, very creepy AI program that is it's creepy to say the least. It really is creepy. Like, I know obviously it's not the real AI, it's not, but it's like, just a voiceover. But I'm just like, this is super freaking creepy. This is really creepy. The fact that he knows a lot about Nolan, he knows a lot about his life, which I'm just like, this is super creepy. This really is. Like, AI should scare people, and I don't know why we're making so many advancements on this technology. Like, one day it's gonna come over and take us all out, and I'm very scared of being transformed to cold metal. If anyone sees Doctor Who, you know what I mean. So from there, yeah, so they started to make the determination that these girls were influenced by this AI to go kill to try and kill the other girl. However, considering the fact it's still very much a very weird gray area, because this is still a very rapidly developing technology, there is not a lot legally they can do. I mean, thankfully, Wesley does call it into the Justice Department, see if they can expedite this removal process, but it is going to take them a little bit of time to work through it. So sadly, it is what it is on that front with them. Then I want to say we cut over to, what do we cut over to? I want to say we get over to, yeah, so Lopez goes over to make the arrest, and yeah, so these girls are completely gone. They're completely trans in this AI. It's not even funny anymore. It really isn't. This is, again, fear AI, please, fear it. And then, yeah, I believe that was about it from the major plot lines. Oh, yeah, I forgot. There was one more scene between Harper and James where James just wants to talk to Harper about this, situation. And Harper does vocally voice her disdain for this. Like, I am trying my best to please you. I am trying to work with you, giving you what you want, which is making real change in the police department starting with Mid-Wilshire. I'm actively recruiting officers that are willing to make these adjustments in their work ethics to please you, and you're inviting unknown violent activists, which again, James being the person he is a misunderstood person. Okay, he has done extreme action. Yes, he did, but he is he has not hurt anyone officially. And I'm just like, James, I like you, man. I really, really do. But these are certain things where, like, I'm very questionable about it. Very questionable. Eventually, Harper's the assistant comes in to go take over James's care for the day, and Harper just breaks down crying a little bit just because of just the fact she's trying so hard and James doesn't seem to be trying. So it's like, again, I know she's just almost lost her husband, but at the same time, it's like, these one of these things that cannot be really, it has to be addressed, basically. And they will have another showdown about this eventually, just not today. So yeah, from there, the musician and Selena just talk. Selena manages to give him some good news that they managed to find the equipment at the pawn shop and also the assailant who turns out to be his neighbor, which, again, the guy happens to have wrote a lot of songs about, which I'm just like, dude, you're a great songwriter. I just do not want to be the subject of any of your songs. I'm just being honest with you. And Nolan comes up to them, apologizes to them about his attitude to them, that, you know, considering how today has went for him, that there's enough bad things happening in the world that if Nolan's holding a grudge over a song, then, you know, it's not called for, and he's willing to kind of start fresh with him and, like, kind of, you know, be a proper, you know, friend. And the guy's like, oh, that's just great because I wrote a whole new song for you, and I'm just like, dude, no. You want to get on Nolan's good side. That's all I recommend you do. That you just need to get on his good side. And Nolan's like, okay, I will hear it, just not today. So then from there, yeah, so, I think from there, Chen confirms her suspicions. So she orchestrates a coup with Gray and Bradford. They pull Ridley away from the scene and to a private room and let him know, we've had some very concerning complaints about you. Certain things you have told have not been truthful. And there is evidence to claim that you may be faking your cancer remission. So because of that, and obviously Ridley's arguing his claim about it. He knows he has lied before and he's trying to make up for it. But Gray does mention, like, okay, but there's still cause over this. So just to confirm on our level, because again, Gray is the top brass in Mid-Wilshire right now, that you need to comply with this blood test for your FTO program to confirm that you have cancer. If you can do it now, you are complying. And if it comes back as positive, we will apologize. But if you are A, not going to comply by this, or B, you comply, but it turns out to be false, you will be kicked from the FTO program. So basically, he's caught in a lie here, so he's got no choice. And obviously, he's defending his claim, like, you know, you're arguing my medical status. Like, why? Obviously, he's trying to fight his claim, and Gray's like, look, either you comply with the blood test or you can get the fuck out. That's really your two options right now. And he denies doing the blood test. He's like, this is discriminatory against my medical condition. I should not be harassed by this. You are making a big mistake, and I will be suing the department for this wrongful medical misconduction. And Gray's like, okay. But until then, you are no longer part of Mid-Wilshire. You are no longer part of the FTO program. You are getting out. You are done. And Gray and Chen agree to go escort him back to the station, relieve him of his state issue belongings, and promptly remove him from the premises. Which I'm just like, I will say this much: Ridley was really weird this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you, Ridley. I kind of know Ridley as a character. I know we've only been him for like 6 to 7 episodes so far, but like the characteristics he was displaying this episode was very much like, it did not seem like Ridley. So that's why I'm saying I don't think we're done with the character yet. I'm just very curious to see where they kind of go from here with the character. I'm just very curious about it. But at least for the time being, Chen is no longer going to be a TL, since as of right now, Penn is now the only individual in the FTO program for Mid-Wilshire. Then from there, yeah, I think that concludes the nighttime business. I don't remember anything else. Nolan returns home after a long day, gives Bailey a very nice blue watch, since the AI kind of predicted that, and it kind of turns out to be true, which again, this is super creepy. And then once Nolan gets a very sweet thank you from her, and then she goes away to go look at the watch in more detail, he gets a text from the AI, which I'm just like, what the fuck? This is creepy. If this turns out to be some Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning bullshit, where like we're gonna AI as a new villain, I'm just like, okay, weird, but okay, bring it on. I'm down for it. I'm game. But that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. like I said, I think it was enjoyable having the musician back, kind of like concluding the trilogy. Now, whether or not this concludes his cameo trilogy, and he might come back as more recurring, depending on how he and Selena perform as a couple, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, he is a fan favorite for some reason, and again, it's never too much to have our mid Wilshire officers having non-officer relationships that isn't Chenford. So I think that's a kudo there. Oh yeah, I forgot about the raccoon. I forgot. So Selena manages to catch the raccoon when Penn gets trapped by the raccoon in the shop, which I'm just like, Penn, as a de facto only rookie now of the team, you gotta learn, you're gonna have these moments of embarrassment, and you are going to continuously have these moments of embarrassment. Which is great to see. I very much love it. So I forgot about that. But no, this was just very fun. The raccoon subplot, again, is it believable? Not so ever. But it was fun. It was just very fun to see them just having a little fun with the storyline this week. Including AI, not like as a component, but like into like the villainous aspect of it is creepy. It is true. Be very careful. Don't get too sucked into things. They are not real individuals. Please. Just a heads up on it. But no, obviously playing the seeds with like James and Harper's newest conflict between them is going to be interesting as we unfold on the next coming weeks, and seeing what was the other thing I forgot to mention? Ridley kind of like concluding this portion of his storyline, which was I do hope they do bring him back. I do think there's more causation to the fire on this, and I think we should definitely see more of that as we progress forward into the next couple of weeks with what is next for him, and how does he get back to like the fire has to be addressed. The fire must be addressed. And, that's why I'm saying like there's more to come on that. There is more to come. But yeah, no, like all else, I just think this was a very fun episode, and I very much loved it, and I can't wait to see what more we have left in the second half of the season to come. But with all that being said, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you want to know what this has been, What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 7th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two beside our rookie episode reviews. Right now, we are doing Reacher episode reviews each and every Friday, normally at the brand new episodes on Amazon Prime. Every Thursdays. We are doing also Suits LA episode reviews each and every Sunday nights at brand new episodes on NBC. And normally we would be doing Mad Luck episode reviews each and every Thursdays at the brand new episodes on CBS, but that's currently on hiatus for another couple of weeks. But if you don't care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review for you, so stay tuned until then. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to, ring that bell, and follow us on social media for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always,